Are you stressed? Be honest with me. I know many of us, probably all of us, face stress on a daily basis. Now, while there are so many factors on why and how we become stressed in our daily life, I want to cover one common top one that I see all of the time, and that stressor is time, right? Time feels so finite. It feels like we have this limited amount of time. We have so many things we want to get done because we're highly ambitious. And often we're not able to accomplish all the things that we want to get done in a day. And sometimes you may feel like your time is managing you instead of you managing your time. Let's talk about that in today's video. I can confidently say that every client I've ever worked with who's come to me looking for improvements in their time management has expressed that stress is one of the main reasons why they are looking to improve their skills. They are overwhelmed with their workload. They feel like they can't get a grasp on achieving their goals because they just don't even know where to start. They don't have clarity on what they want to do. And that leads to overwhelm, clutter in their lives, their physical space, and beyond, which ultimately leads to them feeling super stressed. And a lot of times that stress comes from just feeling behind. And this is a topic that's tough for all of us, right? When we're on social media, when we're around other successful people and friends and coworkers, whoever we're surrounded by, it often can feel like we're behind whatever else they've achieved. And oftentimes we'll compare our chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 27. And then we're looking at our to-do list like, will I ever get all of these things done? Will I ever achieve the goals I set out for myself? Or am I just destined to never achieve those things? Lack of proper planning as well as execution is causing you stress. Overextending yourself, attempting to tackle long to-do lists instead of your top priorities, putting others' needs and urgencies before your own, as well as worrying about things that are just completely out of your control are causing you stress and overwhelm. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing 5 time management habits that will completely reduce your stress. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hey, I'm Sade Kelly. I'm your favorite time management coach, and I'm on a mission to help ambitious people everywhere learn how to manage their time so that they can live a more fulfilling life. Because I know that when you learn how to manage your time, you learn how to design a lifestyle that you love, which ultimately leads to results, fulfillment, happiness, success, more productivity, more fun, more freedom, all of those things that make an amazing life happen when you learn how to manage your most valuable asset, which is your time. So thank you for being here. Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment on this video because all of that helps me out in the algorithm, and I appreciate your support. And if you want more content like this, you better make sure you press subscribe right now. Like literally look down right now under the video. Look if you subscribed and make sure to do so because you do not want to miss out on this amazing content that I'm going to be providing for you. So we all have the same 24 hours in a day, right? There's no way getting around that because that's just the structure of time that we've been put into, right? We didn't choose to have 24 hours. It was just put upon us. But when you learn how to manage your time, what you're actually learning is how to plan your life activities and tasks into the time frame that you are allocated for. So one way I like to think about time when it comes to a day-to-day basis is we have 24 hours in a day, right? Then we minus 8 for sleeping. Majority of people sleep anywhere from 6 to 8 hours, or you should. If you saw my last video, I talked about that. But it's minus 24 from those 8 hours of sleep, you end up with 16 hours. So really, most of us are really working with a 16-hour day. And let's throw in commuting, eating, showering, life activities that take up a lot of our time. Then we really only have about 4 to probably 8 hours to actually get work done to be most productive. So of that 16, about half of it is spent on work tasks, and the other half is about spent on life activities. Now that's give or take. I'm just giving you numbers so you can get a gist of looking at your day a little bit differently. My clients love to think about it in a math equation. Not everyone loves math. When you think about math in terms of how your day is structured, it really makes a lot of sense because a lot of us think, oh, I have the same 24 hours as someone else. Why can't I get done what they get done? And really, you may not have that same 24 hours in the sense of how you're able to maneuver and use it. Yes, in theory, you have 24 hours, but depending on how much you sleep, depending on your life activities, depending on all your responsibilities you have, you may be working with a little bit less time. So that's where productivity comes into play, where you're not only learning how to manage the tasks and activities you're doing in the time that you have, but you're learning how to be more efficient and effective within those times, which comes down to how focused you are, how much energy you're able to give into every single task, and how well you can actually plan out and determine what your priorities are and how clear they are. So I know I just threw a lot at you, but I want to set you up with that time mindset because I think it's going to help you when I share these 5 habits. My first tip is going to be to take small action whenever you feel like procrastinating. So procrastination is one of those things every single person does. Studies show that 95% of people admit that they procrastinate on a regular basis. Now, the 5% who say that they don't, I'm pretty sure they're lying because procrastination is just a natural feeling that we all get. Sometimes we just want to prolong things, right? We don't want to do things right in that second. So I want you to be first conscious that procrastination is normal, stress is normal, overwhelm is normal. Those things are going to happen, but it's all about how you adapt to them that really makes the difference, right? So when you are feeling that procrastination come about, I want you to start taking action in those moments, which may sound incredibly hard, but how I like to think about it is there's this huge staircase, right? And there's all these things you want to get done in a certain time frame. Start off with the first step and just literally tell yourself, I'm going to work on that first step for 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever is a small enough time to make you take action. Start with that. The point of starting really, really small is oftentimes when we don't feel like doing things, it's because we're anxious about it, because we're thinking about how much work it's going to take. We're thinking about how long it's going to take. We have no clarity around how we're even going to get there. It's just a whole lot of fear, a whole lot of excuses, right? A whole lot of justifications in our head of why we can't do it. And those are all just limitations that we're putting onto ourselves. And it's honestly a form of self-sabotage. So to stop yourself from that self-sabotage, you just want to simply set a timer. That's one of my favorite things to do when I feel like procrastinating. I always know I'm procrastinating when I see a task that I just keep pushing off. And then I look at that task and I go, ask myself, why am I putting that off? What's the reason? How can I get to the root of why I haven't done this yet? And if it's something I know I want to do, I know it's aligned with my goals, why am I self-sabotaging by not taking action on it? So the next thing I do after that is I immediately set a timer. So I'll go on my phone, or I'll go on my computer, and I'll set a timer for 5 minutes. That's my sweet spot, but you can find the significant, the small amount of time increment that works for you. I set a timer for 5 minutes, and then I literally go ahead, open my computer, or whatever the task is, whether it's something in the home, and I just work on whatever that is for 5 minutes. And when that timer goes up, I either go, whew, I did 5 minutes, I'm good for the day. I'll do another 5 minutes tomorrow, and I'll keep building that, those stairs onto that staircase. Or I'll be so energized, I'll be so confident and happy that I even started that I'll keep going. And majority of the time, it's the latter. I keep going, I end up getting more work, and I actually end up getting into the groove of whatever that project that I was putting off. My second tip is to create the best environment for your productivity. Now, for many of us, we don't set up an environment that makes us want to be productive. So what that ends up doing is distracting us. So you want to get those distractions out of the way. So for me personally, what that looks like is I will purposely sit at my desk whenever I want to work. That already puts me in the mind frame of I'm about to do work because I'm sitting at my desk in my office. The next thing I'll do is I'll put on playlists the music that really just motivates me, that gets me into the zone. I have certain playlists that literally when I hear it, my brain reminds itself that this is what you listen to when you're about to finish up your content planning, when you're about to make some client outlines so you can get prepped for your coaching calls. Set up some playlists. I actually have this really nice candle that I'll use literally on my desk, and that candle, once I smell that scent, it sets up this ambiance for me to get going and to work. I make sure my desk is clear, there's no clutter. I have my water next to me to keep myself hydrated. I also like sitting next to the window, getting that sunlight really helps me energize me. There's just so many different factors that comes into getting distractions out of the way, whether that's even putting your phone away. I like to throw my phone in another room, setting all my notifications to do not disturb. You have to just figure out what environment you're most productive in. It doesn't mean you have to be in an office setting. For some people, they like to go to coffee shops, or they like to work around other people and go to co-working spaces. To figure out what tasks you need to get done, and then what environments work best with those tasks that need to get done. And once you set yourself up for a really great environment, it'll prime you to get more tasks done. It's like one of those things where when you're trying to build habits, you really have to put the good habits in front of you and then put the bad habits away from you. And James Clear talks about this concept, and I absolutely love it. It's written in one of my favorite books, Atomic Habits, which I highly recommend reading. And he talks about like create more friction with the things that distract you that are not beneficial to your life, and then make it easy for you to start doing the things that you're looking to start doing. And this is something I teach all of my clients. So if you are interested in working with me to help you start creating better habits, to get more organized within all aspects of your life and get your time management together, feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram, or as well as email me at Sade@thefireinsidesade.com, and we can talk about different ways that we can work together. And I'll also leave that information in the description box, so you can go ahead and just book a consultation call if you're interested as well. So 3 different ways to talk to me: DM, email, or you can go ahead and go straight to booking a call. Get into my third tip. My third tip is going to be to set time limits, aka give yourself self-imposed deadlines. Setting deadlines is crucial in order to effectively use your time. Now, whether you're an entrepreneur, a side hustler, or neither, you work a 9 to 5 or you work some type of job, everybody needs self-imposed deadlines, because what happens when we don't have deadlines is we often don't do things as fast as we could. It goes back into Parkinson's law. If you haven't never heard of Parkinson's law, it essentially says the amount of space something takes up is how much space it's going to take up. I don't know if I explained that directly right, but I'll give you an example of what I mean by this Parkinson's law in reference to time management. So let's say you are given a week to do a project. Most often times you're going to take the entire week to get the project done. But if you are given a month to get the project done, you'll probably take the entire month. Even though if you were given a week, you probably would have got it done in a week. All of that to say that the amount of time you give yourself is often how much time you'll take. So what I really love doing is setting self-imposed deadlines. So if something is, let's say I got a due date of Friday, I'll tell myself that it's due Wednesday to get it done earlier. Or let's say you don't have a deadline given to you by anybody and you have to just make up the deadline for yourself. Think through what that deadline should be, so that way you can put some pressure on yourself to actually get it done. Deadlines are amazing because it gives you a sense of urgency and makes you want to take more action. Now, if you're stressed and overwhelmed because of how much time you feel you don't have, you probably aren't setting enough realistic deadlines, meaning you're not giving yourself enough time to actually get the task done that you need to get done. Some people will give themselves less time than they need. Some people give themselves more time than they need. And to judge how much time you may or may not need, you're going to have to do different activities around tracking and auditing your time and figuring out how much time you actually do need. That is often one of the hardest things for people to do on their own. So I highly recommend looking into a coach, someone like me, who can help you assess how long tasks take for you. My fourth tip to overcome stress and overwhelm in your day is going to be to set boundaries. Whether they are with yourself or with others, make sure to set up boundaries. Now, boundaries is one of those things that is becoming more popular now, but what I've noticed is people think boundaries have to do with just like emotional settings. But boundaries, they translate to every area of your life. When it comes to time management, you need boundaries. For many of us, we literally just don't even think through how many things we allow to take away from our time. A lot of times phone calls, text messages, emails, notifications from different things all in our life take away from our work time because we don't set the boundaries of making sure those things are outside of our environment when we need to get things done. We don't take the time to communicate to others that we're not available at this time. We feel like we have to people please and answer them right this second. And a lot of times we don't. People can wait. It's perfectly normal for you to tell someone, hey, I'm working on something right now. I'll get back to you at 3 p.m. And even though it may seem urgent to them at 12, you need 3 hours to get your work done, and whatever they need can wait. Or oftentimes I've noticed if you tell someone they need to wait, they'll go out and find the answer for themselves. And a lot of times people get lazy and they want to just like contact you for an answer, or they want to contact you for something they could have just looked up on their own. So make sure to be really, really cautious of boundaries when it comes to your time. And make sure you set up boundaries that work best for your lifestyle. And don't be afraid to change your boundaries as you go about your days, as you go learning new things about yourself. You may realize that, oh, I thought these were my best work hours in the morning, but actually I prefer to work at night. I need to set up my day a little bit differently. I need to communicate this to whoever is in my household, whoever's on my team, whoever I work with, etc. Whoever you need to communicate with, make sure that once you've set up your boundaries, that you actually have them listed out, you're reinforcing them to other people, and you're also reinforcing them to yourself. My fifth tip is to do what you say you will do. Woo! That is a whole word, okay? A lot of us do not do what we say we will do. We break promises with ourselves, which ultimately leads to us breaking promises with other people, okay? All your promises that you're making with yourself, it's really important for you to make sure that you show up for them. Because a lot of times when we don't do that, we end up decreasing our own confidence in ourselves. We decrease our own self-trust, and that translates to all our different relationships. Doing what you say you want to do means you're going to plan ahead, think through your tasks, and you're actually going to execute them on the times you say you will. AKA, it's being disciplined, right? It goes back into a video I did a while ago, and I'll link that in the description, all on self-discipline. You have to learn to do what you say you will. If you plan something onto your calendar, let's think about it. When you plan a meeting onto your calendar, you show up, right? You do not miss it because the meeting is on there. There's a bunch of reminders that go out. You commit to that meeting with someone else, you often show up. But when there's something you need to get done for yourself, you don't treat it like a meeting. So I urge you to put your meetings as well as all the tasks and life activities that are important to you onto your calendar. To treat them just as important as you would a meeting that was imposed on you by someone else. It is often hard for us to juggle all the different aspects of our work and personal life because we are not doing what we say we will do. We're not showing up and planning ahead of time. We're just thinking things will just come by, they're just going to come into fruition. They're just going to happen as they should. And we're not taking any proactive actions into our life. We're just being reactive. So when you do what you say you're going to do, that looks like taking the time to plan your week on a regular basis. That looks like time blocking it into your calendar, which I highly recommend doing. And it also looks like showing up for yourself by actually doing what you say you're going to do at the time you say you're going to do it. I promise you, if you can learn to execute on that, your life will be completely transformed and your confidence will skyrocket, and so will your belief in yourself. And when your belief in yourself and your confidence is higher, you're way more likely to feel less stressed, feel less overwhelmed, because you know at the end of the day, you got you, and you're going to get done what you need to get done because you do what you say you're going to do. Now, if you need help with that, that is purely what I help clients through. There may be some limits in your mind or some things blocking you that you can't even see, because for many of us, we can't see our own blockages, right? We don't know what's holding us back because we're living in a routine and habit, and we're not looking from the outside in. But when you hire someone like me, like a time management coach, I can come in and look from the outside in and point out ways in which you can be more effective and more productive. So like I said, if you are interested in that, go ahead and either DM me on Instagram, shoot me an email at Sade@thefireinsidesade.com, or you can go ahead straight to booking a consultation with me so you can learn how to stop your time from managing you. I will leave that link in the description, and I hope to hear from you. I hope that these 5 tips were helpful. Use these tips to start developing habits that are going to stop the stress and overwhelm around time in your life, because I want you to know something. Remember that there is always enough time in your day. Stop imposing limitations to your day. There is enough time. You can get everything you want done. There are ways and strategies to make every dream you have come true, because there is nothing that is not possible for you. But really comes down to how well you are able to clarify what you want, get it planned into your calendar, and execute, and also stay the course and be consistent. That is the aspects of life that people struggle with, and that's exactly what I want to help you overcome so that you can live your ultimate, highest, best fulfilling life. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment below, share some thoughts on what you took away from this video, as well as any tips that really hit you over the head and you're gonna start doing them, as well as make sure to subscribe for content every single week from me, all around different topics on time management, lifestyle, wellness, and personal growth.